Hi fellow Webflowers. This is the sixth part of this multi-step tutorial where I'm going to show you how to build this website. If you're new to this multi-step tutorial, you will find the link to the entire playlist in the description. So in the last part we have built together the marquee, and in this part we are going to build this section. So let's get into it. So we start with having a look into our Figma file to inspect the section, and what you can see, we have a different color background. We have here a headline, and we have here 3 images and another text block under it, and probably we will use grid for these images. And here we have 3 illustrations, and they are supposed to be animated, and like also a marquee effect running from right to left with different duration and different speed while the user is scrolling. So let's start to build that in Webflow. Okay, back to Webflow. I start with adding a section. I'm going to call this section vilian. I call it vilian because if you have a look at the story of this landing page, the vilian is going to tell the problem of our target group. So that's why it's called vilian, if you wonder. So in there, I'm going to need a div. This will just be a padding class, and you can see it gives us some padding. And within there we have a container. Let's take container column 12, and within there we take another div, and we are calling this vilian wrap. And first thing I do is I give the entire section a different background color. So that's the background color we need. And if we look at the design, first thing we need is our heading here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm adding another div. Vilian title wrap. So here we go. And within there, I'm going to add a headline. This will be an H2. I'm just going to copy my text. Here we go. And if we look at the design, it needs to be centered and it needs to be blue. I usually apply stuff like this. I never applied to a global class like this H2 class. In this case, I'm applying it to the parent, to the wrapper. Makes much more sense if you don't want to mess up with your global classes and if you want to avoid combo classes. So we center it, and we give it a max width of, let's try out 40. Okay, that was too much. I think, okay, until is. So that's fine now. And we go back to the vilian wrap, and we give this flexbox vertical center. So now that one is already centered. So as next, we will need the grid that will contain these 3 images and this text. So back to Webflow, we will add a grid. We will call it vilian grid. And let's edit the grid. We need a 3rd column in it, and 0.7 fraction should work, as well as here 0.5 fraction, and the one in the middle is 1 fraction, and the next one is the gap we need here, 3m, and 3M. So if you ever wondered why this happens, you just entered a gap here, and actually the gap disappeared. I undo it, and you can see I still have a gap here, and now I add 3M here, and I add 3M here, and all my gaps disappeared. This is some kind of strange behavior, but I don't know why it happens, but it's actually pretty easy to fix. Just leave the edit grid mode and give the grid width of 100%. And now you can see that it's fixed. So the next thing that we are going to build is these images within the grid. And I've prepared them a little bit in the meanwhile, because it's it's a lot of divs and layers in here in combination with an animation or even two animations, and I decided that to make it a little bit quicker and walk you through this part. Actually, this is based on a clonable I found somewhere a while ago, but it's too long ago so that I can actually remember. So sorry that I can't give the credits, but it was a great clonable, and I changed it a little bit to my needs. So what we have here is that's the first image, or actually I gave this the combo class a second, because for me it's the second one, this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. So back in Webflow we have this overall image wrap class, and it has a combo class of a second, like mentioned before, and I gave it, or it has here a little bit of padding. We can also actually change that to something like 1 rem and use it for all. And it has an overflow of hidden, and it is a position relative. Actually, the color here doesn't matter, the decoration doesn't matter too. And it has a radius of 250 pixels, so that's where the rounded corners come from. And it has a white border that we actually also don't need. So let's get rid of that. And then with the combo class itself, it gives this particular image its dimensions. It has a width of 20 em and 32 em and a Z index of 0. Then in there we have an oval image cover. This is hidden. It has a combo class is cream. This is cream is just giving it this background color. And here we have like a little minus margin. This minus, so you can see if I display it, what it does, it's covering the image, and so it's hidden. This is we will animate this on when the image enters the viewport later. And we have a minus margin here, so there won't be any glitch or little corners where you can see the image anyhow. So, but I'm also going to improve this a little bit. Let's make it minus 0.2.5 rem. I like it when the stuff is precise. Okay. Furthermore, it's positioned absolute, so it sits above the image itself, and it has a Z index of 15. So back to the combo class. The combo class actually only gives it the background color, but yeah, we don't really need this combo class here. So we can give it the color itself. And okay, something else happened. I just broke something. It's because of the display. No, it's fine. Okay, I didn't break anything. So here we go. If I display this now, you can see I forgot to give it the color. So now it covers the image, and I turn it back to its default display none. Okay, fine. So next element is, and this is underneath this oval image cover because of the Z index, is this oval image BG wrap. So this just has a width of 100% and a height of 100%. It has a no overflow, and it's positioned relative. And again, it also has a radius of 250 pixel for this curves here. And within there, we have those oval image BG focus. That's important for our animation. It's set to display flex, align center, and it also has an overflow of hidden, and this one is positioned absolute and yeah, centered to or stretched to full, and it has a set index of 10. Yeah. And within there, finally, we have the image. This image is set to cover, and the height is 110%. We need 110% because on the animation, you can see the animation is already running. So this effect is when we scroll in, and when you hover, you can see that the frame actually shrinks and the image stays the same. So that's why we need the image to be 110%, because we are manipulating the scale of it later. So let's have a look at the interactions and animations we have here set up. So the first one is, while scrolling in view, we have a background parallax. So if I turn on preview mode, you can see we have a slightly parallax effect running on this image. And this one is pretty easy. It has a smoothing of 50%. It's applied to all viewports. And in the animation, you can see that we have, or that we are targeting our oval image 2 times. First, we are moving it, and second, we are scaling it. So on the move, we are moving it from, at 0%, we are moving it from minus 13% on the y-axis to 13% on the y-axis to 100%. So that means, like, while it's scrolling through the entire viewport, it's slowly moving from minus 13 to 13%. And the same is happening with the scale. We scale it from 1.5% down to 1.05%. And yeah, the result you can see is here this little parallax effect. And I think it's nice that way, because if it would be moving more, it would be too much. So it's nice that it's just moving a little bit. It gives this 3D dimensional effect to this images. So, and we have another image, another 2 more animations here. The first one is this scroll into view. It has an offset of 30%, and it's triggered on all viewports. This 30% offset, we need it because we want to start it when the image has entered the viewport already by 30%. If this would be at 0%, I can just demonstrate it. Let's scroll it out like this. You see, I almost don't see the animation. It starts too early. That it is because the animation starts already here, just when it starts to enter the viewport. So that's too early, and that's why we are taking or using an offset of 30%. So we trigger it later. So you can see I can scroll, and you can see now the animation started already here, and you can see this is like 30% from the viewport we have here. So back to the animation, or let's walk through the animation. First thing we do is we change the hide and show of this class. We actually switch it to display, and that means the image is covered from the beginning on, and then we are moving it. We are moving it from 0% to minus 100%, and I can show you what that means. Sometimes the preview is not really working, but yeah. Now you can see it was at 40%. We need it at 0%. That means that it is actually sitting here under the image, and it's moving to minus 100%, and that means it's moving up out of the out of this parent, and this parent is also set to overflow hidden. So yeah, we don't see how it disappears. It just disappears like that. Exactly. Yeah, and afterwards, once the animation is finished, we turn the display setting to, or we set the display setting to display none. So it's not any way of anything anymore. Exactly. So, and then we have the last animation. The last animation is the mouse hover. So what we are doing here, we are targeting the focus and the wrap class. And the focus class, all we're doing in this animation is changing the scale. So on the focus, we are scaling it from 1 to 1.03, and the parent of it, the wrap, we are scaling from 1 to 0.97. So what we are doing is we are scaling the parent down while scaling the image itself, or the parent of the image, and with it the image up. That means in this case the size of the image will stay the same while the wrap is scaling down, and this gives us this hover effect where you can see that it looks like the window where we can see through the image is shrinking while the image itself stays the same. So the next step is that we are duplicating this image actually 2 times. You can't see that I duplicated right now because we have set the position manually, and now all 3 images are at just at the same position. So we go to the second image. First thing I change is the combo class. I change it to is first, and I change its position to start and end in column 2, and I want it to be bigger, larger than the left image, and so it should start in row 1 and end in row 3. Okay, fine. And actually I need to change this ones here. If you look at the design, it should start here and not there at the top. So column 1 is okay, and I'm going to change it here to 3, 2, 4. Okay, yeah, now it sits here, and this is our third image. So I give it the class is third. And this one, it should sit in column 3. And the first one, it started at 3, 4. And this one is going to start at 4, 5 probably. Yeah, looks great. Now we have to change the image and the size. So the images should be already uploaded. So here we have this image, and there we have the image of the smartphone. So here we go. And I have to change the Z index to 0 on the first and the third. And now we have to give it a different sizing. Yeah, like this one. And also the third one, it needs a sizing of, I have my notes here on the side because I can't remember all this numbers at once. And it has to be EM. Okay, fine. Looks great so far. Yeah, also the animation works. Hover effect works. Parallax effect works. Nice. But one thing is missing. When we look at the design, you can see that this headline is actually overlapping the first image. So we have to go to the grid itself and give it a minus margin. I don't know, minus 4 EM. So we look, okay, it actually hits the take a little bit. I go with 5, that's fine. And let's go to the title wrap and also give it a Z index. So, okay, fine. Oh, I was scrolled a little bit too fast. Very nice. So let's see how we can make it responsive in the next step. And at the last step, I will also add these illustrations here. We will actually use the same marquee logic and effect we were already using here up there, because that's actually also a marquee. And yeah, let's do it. So to make it responsive, I'm switching to tablet, and yeah, actually looks almost okay. I think I just have to edit the sizes a little bit of the images. So let's start with this one, and oh, that was too much. Just a little bit, something like this. Yeah. And this one, yeah, 1422 is fine. And yeah, this one needs to get smaller as well, the third one. Maybe 24. Yep. And I think I'm going to edit the grid gap a little bit. We can set the gap for the rows to 0. It looks much better. And yeah. On landscape, let's see what we're doing here. Somehow those seem to be mixed up. So let's start with this one. This is 2213 and 13, okay. And the first one on desktop is 1134, so 1134, and the third one on desktop is 3345. 3345, okay. Yeah, looks fine. It's still missing 3345, okay. And we have to decrease the size here a little bit more. Something like this probably. This one, actually we can give it a little bit more width. And yeah, 1 EM is fine enough. Okay. And now on mobile, yeah, here we don't have too much space for all the images, and I'm actually going to hide, yeah, the second one is already hidden, so if it's visible, it's like that, but I'm going to hide it, and I'm going to hide the third one as well. So we will keep only this one, and here we can also change the columns to only one column. We can switch that to auto, so it's always in the center. And now we have to change the border radius. I want 0 at the bottom, like this. Webflow seems to have some trouble here, but let's give it a little bit more height. Yeah, something like this. Okay, looks fine. So let's check it one more time in preview mode. Yeah. Okay, here my images are missing. Actually, they should be visible. Don't know why they're not visible, but I will have a look later. For now, I think that looks fine, even if the other two images are already hidden in this viewport. And yeah, what's missing still is this text block. That's the next thing that we are going to do. So let's add our content. So first thing we need is a div for that. Let's call it div content wrap. And within there, we need to, currently it's placed there, we need to place it here. So we have to position it manually. We want it in column 2 and probably 4, 5. Yeah, now it's here. Then we need a heading. We use a H3 for that. I'm going to copy my text. And I'm using the H3 class. And then we need a paragraph. I give it the class is txt medium. and we need a button. Copy the button from here. Here we go. And we need some spacing. And yeah, as I said before, usually I am applying classes for, I want to turn this color into blue according to the design. And usually I'm doing this, if it's possible, on the parent. So I would do it on the vilian content wrap. I would just go here and change the color to blue, but you can see this is also happening now to this paragraph text, what I don't want. So I do this because I want to avoid combo classes where possible. This is now a case where it's not possible to avoid a combo class. So in this case, I'm using a combo class. I have here one is txt light blue 100. And this combo class is just applying this text color to this headline. And what we also need is some spacing. We can just select the parent and give it flexbox vertical like this. And now give it some spacing of 2em. And here we go. And something that is missing in the design, the button text is blue. So in this case, okay, this is btn text yellow. So in this case, I'm probably duplicating that and go with btn text blue. And I turn that to blue. Okay, okay, that didn't work. I still want my animation to run. Okay, it's I have to duplicate the animation for that actually. So let's do that. I duplicate it. I call it btn text blue. Now I can turn the text to blue, but what you see now, my animation doesn't work anymore. So let's select the button, go to the animation and btn yellow in. Let's duplicate that. Let's call it btn blue in, and we need to change the target here. Actually, that's a great tip if you are duplicating an animation and you just want to change the target. Select the elements that you want to change, make a right click on it and click change target. Then look out for your element and select it here, and you've changed the target in your animation. So we are now turning it from blue to actually blue, doesn't matter. Or I can actually delete it. We don't need that in this animation, but I need to change the target here as well. Change the target to btn blue, and there's a spelling error. But you see now it works. I can save it. And here I have to duplicate this one as well. And this is going to be named btn blue out. And I have to change the target here. And we can delete the color. And now it works fine. Let's see how it's responding. Looks okay. Looks okay. Whoops. We need to switch the position to auto and go back to the grid and actually give the rows some spacing, something like 2.5 em. Or 2 em. Now it works. Okay, fine. That's it. And the next step is that we are going to add these illustrations and in a marquee effect. So let's select our section and let's add another grid for that. And move this grid above the actual content of this section. And we call it vilian animations grid. And this grid, let's edit it a little bit. It actually will only have one row, one column. And we need like 3 rows. Now we have 4 rows like this. And we will give it a little, the rows a gap of, let's start with something like 4 em. Okay, fine. Furthermore, we have to position it absolute. Let's see if we have to give our parent a position of relative, so it stays here. We can give it a width of 100%. Also set it here to cover the entire parent. And yeah, it definitely should stay on top of everything. So I already give it a Z index. 1 probably is enough. And I give it a height of 75% because if we look at the design, those 3 illustrations, they are here. They are not evenly spread over the entire section. So let's give it a height of 75% and move it down here, something like, I don't know, 40% maybe. So it starts here. Yeah, it's a little bit too much probably. So let's use something like 30%. Okay, that looks better. Okay, and within there, we are going to place our marquees for the illustrations now. So let's go to our marquee section up here and copy one of the marquees. I'm going to paste it here in our grid for it. And now I'm going to rename it. For this, I'm duplicating it and I'm just calling it vilian marquee wrap, something like this. And this is going to be our first marquee with the coins. So I'm calling it, I'm duplicating this as well, and I call it marquee coins. We can actually delete all these and just keep one, and we are going to rename this as well to marquee coins wrap, and within there we need an embed, and now I need to copy this SVG code. Just right click on it and copy as SVG, and I'm pasting it here in this embed. I save and close it, and I'm calling this marquee something like this, marquee illucoin. Okay, here we have it. I can see that it's a little bit cut off at the top. Let's see where that comes from. It comes from this Marquee wrap. So actually, no, okay. I just increased the height a little bit to something, yeah, like 10 em. That's fine. And now we can duplicate that one a couple of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's fine. So here on the Marquee coins wrap, we actually don't need that gap. We can get rid of that. And then I select one of these embed fields and I give it a right margin of 90 viewport width and a width of 12 em. Or actually, we don't really need an em. Then I open this embed for the Marquee CSS. I need to change this class here to this Marquee coins. And just for the good habit, I'm also renaming this animation. The animation will run without renaming it, but I just like to change it. And I bump it up to something like 35 seconds, otherwise the animation runs too fast. So if I save it now, you can see our Marquee is already running here. And let's see how it looks on different sizes. Okay, you can see here I need to change the height of the, somewhere I've applied a height. Here. Actually, I don't need a height for that. I'm getting rid of that height. So you see it works. I just need to change the size of the coins itself. So on tablet, I'm going to decrease them a little bit. I give them a width of something like 90 em maybe. Okay, it didn't work. It didn't work because I need to edit the SVG a little bit. Okay, it's hard to hit it. Here it is. I have to delete the width and height settings here from the SVG and save it. And now I have to delete all the other ones. That's the one where I changed it. I delete all other ones and copy them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now you can see the size changed. I need to give it a width here, 13 em. And 9 em is too small here. 12 em is probably fine. And yeah, 12 em is fine on this as well. And here on mobile, yeah, 12 also looks fine actually. So let's duplicate this Marquee 2 times. So you can see now we actually have this Marquee section 3 times here in our on top of our section. We are going to replace the illustrations now and also change the duration of the Marquee animation itself. So for this, I have to change this a little bit probably because it's cut off like this. So copy the SVG. I'm duplicating this one and call it register. It's a register. Duplicating this one as well, and I call it register. And I'm duplicating this one as well, and I call it register. So let's paste our SVG code in here. Let's delete the width and the height again. Save and close, and let's give it a width of something like maybe 10 em. No, not even. 80 em looks good. Let's delete all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. I have to edit my CSS settings again. It is the Marquee register. And I'm going to set this to something like 50 seconds. Here you can see it. It runs much slower. And the third one. Yeah, let's copy the SVG of this one. Marquee pig. Pig. And also here, pig. Let's paste the SVG code and save it. Here we have our pig, and yeah, 8 pixel, 10 pixel. Let's use 11 pixel. One, two, three, four, 5. Here we go. Let's change the CSS to Marquee pig and use a duration of 25 maybe. Okay. Great. Okay, we have to change the size of this one a little bit here. Let's use something like 8, and for the pig use something like 10. So we managed to build this section, and in the next section, or in the next video, we are going to build this section. These cards will be sticky and animate out to the left and out to the right while the user is scrolling. So not to miss any of the following videos, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.